Okay, so this entire section is about word problems. So the homework starts off with these kind right here. This is problem 5 from the homework. Let me double check problems. I don't remember if I have the right numbers. Yeah, I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, flights to Hawaii were like a couple $100 or something. It's like, it's pretty sweet.
Also a great time to buy stock at like those airlines when the pandemic hit.
Yeah,
You know?
that's true.
That was a great time. My mom bought it. Like I remember I was a kid, we went like on vacations because like a 9/11 happened, where my mom bought like a crazy amount of Continental stock, you know, and like it pulled a big hole and made like out real good.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
No, that's smart. That's how you do it, man. You see,
You see it
opportunity.
Capitalize.
Yeah, that's America, right? That's basically who we are, which is kind of disturbing. Get rid of some of these questions real quick. It's funny stuff, though. Okay. So here's problem 5. So solve the triangle shown. So it is a right triangle. So we need to find all the missing pieces. Okay. So I'm gonna write down what they gave us and label everything. We need to find B, and C was given. You see how that there's a right angle symbol. So for sure we know what C is. I'm gonna write down C. Need to find little a, little b, and little c. They gave us little c, that's cool. I don't really need to draw a triangle, but you can. So but if we have 2 angles, we should be able to find the missing one, right? So what is B, or how would you find B?
Add A and C together and subtract from 180.
Yeah, basically. So to find, so if you have 2 angles, subtract them from 180. So B is going to equal 180 minus 60 minus 90. So what is that? At 30? Okay, so we found B. Now, the missing sides, we cannot do Pythagorean theorem because we need at least two of them, right, to find the missing one. So we'll have to use the inverse functions to help us out. So we got hypotenuse. So just to visualize this, I think they drew it this way, right? They said that C was 12. Okay, I don't know where they put it. They didn't give us any angles, or did they? They gave us A, which they put here. So I'm trying to be consistent. We found B up here. So that's A. B 30. C. All right. It's a 30, not 300. That looks weird. Okay. So use the trig function to help you. We want to find, let's say, the adjacent side. This is my adjacent, right? To 60. So cosine of 60 is going to be the adjacent side, which is the missing side. They're calling B. So adjacent over hypotenuse is going to be B over 12. So cosine 60 is equal to B over 12. So solve for B, multiply both sides by 12. That'll give us that B is equal to this. I skipped an algebra step. You guys cool with that, or do you want to see what happened? What we got here? That's okay? Okay. So let me know, no big deal. So solve for B, and then punch it into your calculator. It's the only thing we can really do. Well, that's not true. This unit 60 is on the unit circle. It's a nice angle, right? Cosine of 60. Half. Remember? I believe that's going to be 1/2. Let's see if I have my circle somewhere. Yeah, it's a half. If you think about it, it's always going to be either two answers, right? If it's not at the 45 degree, it's going to be either a half or square root 3 over 2. It's always those two answers, depending where you are on the circle. So if you're right here, if you're towards the top, which 60 degrees is over here, 30 is over here, right? So this value is not a great drawing, but the x value is about halfway, right? So that gives you a clue that, oh, it has to be the half. So a sine of 60, it's bigger than that, so it has to be square root 3 over 2. That's kind of ways to remember. Make sure the legit picture, because that picture is horrible. Not gonna lie. Try to get my point across here with a nice picture.
Actually, yeah, like I had fever dreams. I had COVID of the unit circle, like in pi over 2, like a burning fever dream of pi over 2 on the unit circle, because I had to take this test and I knew it was coming and I was going to fail. It was like a nightmare and I had a fever dream while I was having COVID over it. And that made sense to the stupid circle I could not stop dreaming about the whole time. Your drawing made more sense than all of the time I spent into videos, whatever. That.
My crappy drawing?
Yeah, hilarious.
Nice, nice. So, but yeah, you can see it now, right? The x value is down here, half. This is what in your calculator. What is square root 3 divided by 2? You guys have one handy? we know for sure is bigger than a half. So as soon as I see where it's at, I'm like, I know it's got to be one of these, and cosine the x, sines the y. So if I'm looking at a y value and it's bigger than a half, sine of 60 or pi thirds has to be this one. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say? The square root of 2 is bigger than a half. If you don't believe me, let's punch it in somewhere. Let's see, you guys, the number. Yeah, that's bigger than 0.5, right? Just to be clear. So 0.8 is bigger than 0.5. So since I'm up here, right, the sine value cannot be 1/2 over 60 degrees. The cosine value has to be a half because one's over here. So with the picture, it's a little nicer to see over here. Okay. But of course, you're allowed to print one out and look at it. But if you ever need to figure it out, that's how you do it. Yeah, I remember the math nightmares though. You first had them in statistics. Suck. Nowadays I call them problem-solving nightmares because you're trying to solve a problem. You keep waking up, and then you keep thinking about it. You fall asleep. You're still trying to solve this thing, but you don't know what it is. You just keep waking up, thinking about it, and then you finally get up and you're like, I don't know what the problem was, but something's obsessing. Something's trying to figure it out, and yeah, I've been there. It still happens to me now, but they're no longer about math, it's about life. Doesn't really end. Oh wait, this other piece, forgot about it. We got B, right? We need the missing side. What do we need? A. Oh, that idea makes sense, how we set it up? You see how we got this setup here and how we got B? Or no? Oh, okay, so you have to remember what cosine means, right? Cosine is defined as adjacent over hypotenuse. You remember that part? The definition, right? So that's that, but that only works for the angle you're choosing. So if I'm choosing 60, I could have chosen 30, it don't matter. Cosine of 60, the adjacent side means the one next to it is 6. So cosine of the adjacent over the hypotenuse. This is where we got B over 12, because I didn't know what this was. So B over 12. So then when you said, so these are equal to each other, and you isolate B on your calculator. So you multiply both sides by 12, it cancels, and you get this. This becomes 6 on your calculator or by hand, whatever. Use your unit circle or your calculator, you're gonna get 6. So that's how you find the side. So doing it again, I could do cosine of 30 and use this as my adjacent side. So do the same thing. Cosine of 30 is equal to the A adjacent over hypotenuse. But this time I'll go ahead and show it. Multiply both sides by 12. So that cancels this. So that means that A has to be 12 cosine 30. And cosine of 30 would be on your unit circle. It's bigger than a half. X star is over here. So it's not 0.5. It has to be the other one. Or just put it in your calculator and you'll get the answer. You don't have to memorize it. I'm not about memorization at all. Just need you to understand it. So it's about 10.39. So approximately 10.39. is A. So there's all the missing pieces. On the test, I just want you to find all the pieces. Okay. You could have used Pythagorean theorem at this point if you wanted to, because we had two sides, right? But I went ahead and did it this way because this is the new method, and I'm sure you remember Pythagorean right at this point. But we will use it randomly when we have right triangles. You guys have any questions on number one here? Does that make sense? Or if it's weird, just let me know. Just explain it a different way. Okay. 1 sec, someone's blowing up my phone, so I'm trying to see what's going on. Okay. All right, let's move on to something else then. You guys are good. I think I told you guys my pre-cal teacher didn't allow any formula sheets. We had to memorize the circle and every single formula, and it was like 40 plus. So we would joke about getting math tattoos just so we wouldn't have to memorize them. Just like do a big unit circle. So yeah, this really sucks, man. How do we make this class easier? Tattoos. That was a summer class. It was just 2 people that passed that class.
Yeah, it's really tough for that short period of time.
Yeah, it was really hard. They just a crazy old man. He was old, very old school.
When I had the fever dreams, it was an 8-week flex course that I had COVID in. And I honestly, and was kind of a procrastinator anyway, so I knew I had to get this stuff done. I had a week and change to do my homework, and I thought, I got it, I've done a couple sections. Got COVID on Monday. My friend came back. I'm getting ready to leave for class. My buddy called me. He goes, "Hey man, I can't taste my McDonald's." I remained and sweated. As he got the he got a text to the group chat, and it's like, yeah, man, I sweated through my sheets too. And then it's like, oh damn, we all have COVID. Like actually,
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Shoot. Was this like the pre-vaccine days?
No, this was maybe. Well, actually, yeah. Of the back, yeah, everyone was vaccinated, got COVID and everything.
That stinks. Yeah. Some bad luck, man.
No, they went to a music festival, EDC in Vegas. They had just opened it up, and they went to a giant thing and brought it back.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and I was like, I gotta stay home and go to school.
So you didn't go to that? They did.
No, I was dog sitting.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
That stinks. I'm assuming you dropped the course. Is that what happened?
Yeah. Well, I withdrew 8-weeker, and yeah, I went to the lab or whatever to get help. My hair was literally falling out on the table in front of me because I realized there was nothing I could do to make myself understand what I needed to understand before I was done. And I came back in like I got cleared from the COVID stuff pretty quick,
But it's not that you're pushing yourself too hard at that point.
when I was sitting there, I had left. I threw up. I left the math lab. I got the crab swirl or whatever, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. And she was like, what's going on? And I was like, and I know I was gonna drop out of school. I was done. I literally left. I'm not joking. Hair on the table.
That's scary shit.
Yeah.
It's like, am I dying? Be like my first thought, like, damn, I'm screwed, aren't I?
Swirl. Like once I saw the hair, I realized like, that was the beginning of like this is the end. And I was out there like 10 minutes after I barfed.
I'm sorry, man. A rough semester. Let's do another one just in case. So I believe this entire section are right triangles, so you can assume that one of these angles, angle C, is going to be 90, which then we can solve for A. So what is A going to be?
Six five.
65? Sounds right. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so we get all the angles. 65, 25, obviously 90. Is that how they wrote B, or did I get it backwards? No, they put A here. I'm sorry. They try to be consistent with their stuff. It doesn't matter at all, but I want it to be the same. Okay, A was 65. B is 25. Okay. All right, so none of these are on the unit circle. So you have to use your calculator if we can't get exact answers anymore. So I'm going to use, let's use cosine, or let's use sine this time, I guess. Oh, actually, we don't have hypotenuse. So we're going to have to solve for hypotenuse instead. So sine of 65 would equal the opposite side over C. So does that help me at all? Do I have A or C? I can't solve for both at the same time, right? So this is not a good one. Let's try sine of 25. So that'll be opposite over hypotenuse. But we have B, right? This will be 6 over C. So solve for C. What would you do first?
Divide both sides by 6.
Yeah, we could do that. Why not? So that would cancel this 6, right? Divide both sides by 6. We could just flip both sides over. It's a legit property. Take the reciprocal of both sides. Which is just C, right? So C is 6 over sine 25. So on your calculator, what is that garbage? Six divided by sine 25. 14.1, or I guess you could say 14.2. So C is approximately 14.2. So how would you set it up to find the A? Because I have B and C now. And how would you find this guy? You have to pick an angle and pick a trig function. It's up to you. And in all honesty, you can't really go wrong unless you choose. You can't go wrong, actually. So what we could do is say tangent of 65. I'm choosing this just because it doesn't matter what you choose, really. That's equal to opposite over adjacent. So look at the triangle. 65 is here. Opposite is A over adjacent. So that would be equal to, right? Opposite over adjacent. So just solve for A. Multiply both sides by 6. This thing by 6. So A is equal to 610, 65. So again, use your calculator. .87. So does it make sense though? Like how you set this up? It's not too bad. 'Cause I can't tell if you guys are pros or completely confused. So you need to let me know if you feel it's confusing. Okay. That's good then? You guys cool on this page? I'm gonna turn the page. Good. This one's problem 10 from your homework. So the idea, they give you a triangle that is a right triangle, as I think it is. Let's check. Number 10. No, they don't give you anything. Okay, I lied. Let's visualize it first. I thought there was a triangle. The triangle's in words. Just read it carefully. The sun is 26 degrees above the horizon. Okay. Find the length of the shadow cast by a park statue that is 12 feet tall. Well, you know what? Let's do this one first, and then this one. This is similar, but a little easier. So the sun is 25 degrees above the horizon. So basically, what they're saying, so here's the visual. We'll have to draw this on the next one. Looking upward towards the sun at 25. Find the length of the shadow. It is 100 feet tall. Of the building that's 100 feet tall, sorry. So we have 25 feet, okay. So the building's up here, 100 feet. Angle to the sun is 25. They want to know the shadow, because the sun's up here, I believe, right? Happy little sun here. So they want to know the shadow cast, X. So what trig function would you use to solve for X? You have what? Opposite side and an adjacent side. You do not have hypotenuse. We want to find the adjacent, I should say. We want to solve for X. So you need to know what how the trig functions are defined. You have sine that's opposite over adjacent. Sorry, opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. But neither of those have, both of those have hypotenuse and we don't have one. So we can't use either of those. So no sine or no cosine. So we have to do the tangent. You see why we're choosing it? Because tangent of 25 degrees would be equal to the 100 feet opposite over the adjacent side. So remember the definition. The whole SOHCAHTOA thing. So that's where we're using it to solve for X. You flip both sides over just because I'm lazy. Multiply both sides by 100. We should be done. You guys cool with that algebra? I skipped a couple of steps. Do you see how we solve for X? Or no? Okay. So at this point, it's machine time. So that would be 100 divided by 10, 25. I don't even know if I have been in degrees at all this whole time. Oh, thank goodness. So X is 214.45. Any questions on the setup, the definition, or the calculations? Is it okay? Make sense? Yeah, you got to go basically the exact opposite side of this broom. So all the way over there, all the way to the right. You'll see it on your left. So when you get close to the exit, left side. All right, so this is the same garbage, hit number 10, but no picture. So we should be able to build the picture, right? No problem. I think that first one, example 3 should help us build example 4 or problem 10. Should make a note here. That was problem 9. Okay, so it's 26 degrees above the horizon. Find length of the shadow cast by a park statue. So the park statue is how tall? Oh, I forgot. 12 feet. Okay. They want to know the shadow. So if this is the statue and the sun's out here, it's casting a shadow going this way. Okay, so they want to know this guy.
This is the same as the last one, almost literally, right? Like you can't even use like we're not almost exactly the same thing.
It is exactly the same. The only difference was we had to visualize it ourselves. They gave, the other one gave us a picture.
I see. 'Cause you can't even use a different still tangent.
We could do cotan, but yeah, tangent. I think cotan would be slightly better, but what's that? Oh, I'm glad, man. That's good. That's good. I would prefer you not to suffer here. College algebra?
Oh, college algebra, I had it for high school.
Which one were you taking? So, should it be, isn't it this one?
Williams.
It wasn't pre-cal?
It was super pre-cal. But he had algebra 8 as well. So I don't know if it was algebra.
But it wasn't this class though.
No.
It was a different one.
Yeah.
Wonder what it was.
When you explain like, things like how you would explain it, you give another question to explain it to you. But we did make it harder on you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everyone needs a different style. That's fine. So I'm sure there's some people that really hate me, and that's cool. I'm cool with that too. But anyway, let's do cotan just for the heck of it, right? Cotan is what? The opposite. So if we were to do cotangent 26, it would be adjacent over opposite, which would be x over 12. So now I don't have to flip stuff over. So you could do that if you want to, but there is no cotan button. So you'd have to technically flip it there or use the negative or use the reciprocal button, which I'll show you in a sec. So multiply both sides by 12 and you get x. So it can't do that. So what you'd have to do, where's the inverse button? I think this will work. Let's test it. Oh, biscuits. Yeah, so you can use the -1 button. See how it's a minus? That means flip it over. Because cotangent is 1 over tan. So you put the minus to tell it to flip the tangent over, because there is no cotan button. There's sine, cosine, tangent, and then there's sine inverse, cosine inverse. So
So the -1 is a reciprocal identity then.
the -1 on the blue here is inverse, but this button over here is a reciprocal button. So like if I do 2 reciprocal, we know what that's gonna be, right? It's a half. So you can do that for the tangent. So if you want to like secant of 45, you do cosine and -1 button. You could do that if you want. But you can also just divide it like this. 1 over cosine. Oops. Whatever. Oh yeah, I forgot that was 24. So x is 24.6 feet. Also trying to think about your answer. Like, does that make sense? If you get some giant number and it's supposed to be a shadow, like this can't. If the statue is 12 feet tall, there's no way the shadow is gonna be 10,000 feet, right? So stuff like that, or when you're crunching like profits or something and you get some crazy number or a negative number or negative distance, that should be like red flags. telling you that you messed something up. Okay. Guess we can maybe move on to, let's move on to some review stuff. Oh, let me save the edits I made. So we do have some time. What stuff are you guys stuck on from the review or exam topics? Do you- Yeah, we look at it again if you want.
Let's do today.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow.
I moved it to tomorrow night just in case, because no one has started. Except one guy. So that guy deserves extra points to help him out. Two and that is right across the hall for math. So all those windows. I think till like 7 or 8 at night, and they open 8 a.m. I think, something like that. Yeah, let's pull up the schedules right here. So if you go to Canvas, there's a tutoring lab there. You can go there via Zoom, or you can walk in. So in person, here it is. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So that's the same for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Wednesday is 9 to 5. Wednesday. For the, yeah, you just walk in. So then you just sit down. They have 2 sides. This side, you just log into a computer and start doing your homework and just ask a question when you get stuck. They'll come help you out. Zoom, you can jump in there. Down here, there's a link. So you just click who you want to tutor you. There's different people that work here. And they have what they're good at or what topics. So see how ours is 2412. So Pete can do 2412. Donna can. Joe. So you just pick the guy you want to go and during these times, and they'll just be sitting in there. You ask your questions, or you can share your screen like, hey, how do I do this problem? And they'll show you. So do it from home or in person, whatever you want.
Figure out 17, 18.
The review.
It's basically the graphic ones. I don't have experience.
Okay.
Graphic. I left that out of the review. I think. I tried to Google about it a little bit.
Okay. Let's look at it. It's from the review, right? So towards the bottom, you said, right?
Yeah, it was the graphic one. I think it starts at whichever one's below that one.
Oh, these.
3 of them, the last 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean,
That one too, just doesn't have it.
okay. So what I want you to do is just use Desmos when you're taking the test. You can. I'll have a link. Click it, and it should open the graphing calculator. Or you use this guy. So I'll show you how to use this if you want.
I have the TI-83.
Yeah, it's almost the same as this one. It's just older. That one will not do graphing, but it'll do everything else.
Can I upgrade or update?
No, that's fine. You don't have to. Also, and you don't have to buy graphing. You can use Desmo. So what I'm going to do, I need to check if I already did it, but I'll check tonight before I forget. So right here, right next to the question 1, there'll be a little link. You just click it during respondents and it'll open one tab.
Oh, okay.
And then you can use your graphing. So you just go, so the tab will open. And it'll look like this. I just want you to plug it in there. Y equals, what was it, tan something?
Yeah, that one might be easier. I found pi, but it took me a while to find it on my calculator earlier.
Yeah. Forgot. I don't think it's 20. I'll check in a second. I guess so. 20 questions. You're right.
Oh, I thought I saw in the review, if we do it up to 3 times, potentially the extra credit.
Yeah, if you score really high on the review, I used to do that. I don't know if I was doing that now, but I don't mind. If you,
Okay, I just was curious. I don't think I heard you talk about that, so I wasn't sure. if you
yeah, I think I
put
left it
that
in there from last time. At this point, I'd say no, because it's
We got these.
we don't have much time anymore to assign extra credit problem stuff, but
Right.
maybe next time.
Sure, it's helpful.
But yeah, I recommend you keep doing it. Yeah, and because it's going to be very similar. But for this guy, 10x minus pi over 2. All right, so just do it on here. But it's not that bad on here either. You just hit the y equals. You go in there, press tangent x minus pi.
I saw the graph, but it was from far away, and I wasn't sure. if it was-
Oh yeah. So it looks weird at first, right? It looks something like this. So all you gotta do is press zoom when it's done graphing, and scroll down. You'll see one that says trig. See that number 7? If you press trig, it'll know to adjust to
Oh, cool.
these types of graphs. So you'll see it right away.
Yeah, the web browser one was a lot easier.
Yeah, that one's nicer. But yeah, let me check if I put it in there. It should be. Yeah, see the link right there?
Okay,
You just click that when you're working, and it'll pop this up.
yeah. Well, glad you.
Yeah, it should be two. Yeah, just press zoom trig whenever you can't see something. Also, zoom standard to do like a basic graph.
I saw that, but I felt like it didn't zoom it in all the way.
Yeah, because standard it does a 10 by 10 zoom, but trig graphs are based off pi and stuff, so you might not see it. So if you're doing like a normal graph, standard will work most of the time. If you're doing trig, just do trig, and that should work most of the time. Unless they're really strange graphs, and you might have to like customize it.
And is 19 and 20 similar?
Yeah, you just graph them
Press trig.
pretty much. Let's see, number. Yeah, so you just do a secant. Share screen. Yeah, just do a secant, and you'll see the graph. You should have multiple choice, I think, right? So for the graph, I'm not going to require any work. Just pick the right picture. It'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you saying that. I don't remember seeing that one on the calculator.
Secant, well, you have to remember what secant means. It's 1 over cosine. So you just put 1 parenthesis, or 1 divided by cosine parentheses,
Okay.
and that'll be the same as secant because there is no secant button.
Okay. Yeah, I think I was a little confused. I guess I forgot because I know there's the tangent.
Yeah, like if I said cotan, you would do 1 over cotan or 1 over tan.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I wouldn't worry too much about these. As long as you graph them, you should have the answer. Like, I'm hoping these are free points.
Well, I remember you saying that it's supposed to be, I guess, easy, but.
Alrighty. You have any other questions on these or any other ones? You said you had one?
How many people, like, what kind of topics are in the test? Like,
It's gonna be very similar to the review, so you'll see some partial fractions, like at least 2 of them, maybe 3. You'll have like one of these conversions from that we did together a while back, from degrees, minutes, seconds to just degrees. So basic conversion, a couple of word problems, finding the missing trig function. Like if you're given tangent, find cosine or find sine. So you have to build a triangle.
yeah, what-
Yeah, you want to do this one? 10?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what number that is, but tangent theta.
What number is that?
I don't have the numbers on my end.
It's
It's,
okay, I'll find it. I just noticed that too. That they don't have numbers.
yeah, when you see it, you have numbers, but mine doesn't, for whatever reason. Okay. So find sine given tan equals 3. So we need to remember that tangent theta is equal to opposite over the adjacent, right? Which is 3. So there's no number on the bottom, so you put a 1. The 1's always there, right? So then I'm choosing to put theta here. So the opposite is now determined to be here. Adjacent is determined to be there. Sine is technically opposite over hypotenuse. So I need to find the hypotenuse first or I can't answer. So c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. So c would be equal to the square root of this garbage, which would be 1 plus 3. That will be 10, right? But that'll be it. So that's 10, or that's a hypotenuse. So now you can answer the question. Opposite over hypotenuse. I mean, that would, for me, that would be enough. But you can simplify further by multiplying the top and bottom by root 10. So these become a regular 10. But if you, so the multiple choice is going to have this one. They're not going to have this guy. So if you stop here, don't think you're wrong. They simplified further. So I'll accept this if you show your work. I won't take off points if you don't get to here. Just make sure you show your steps and you'll be good. Okay. Any questions on this one? Okay. Any other ones on this review that feel are weird? Which one's 14?
It's like, I guess, in the middle, or towards the back. Point P on the unit.
Point P, this guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, they make it sound harder than it is. So if point P is a point on the unit circle, so these values right here correspond to that P point. So this is your X and your Y. So cosine relates to X, so you would choose the X. There's nothing really to do. You just need to understand cosine of T, where T is referring to the point P. This just means this one. If it was sine, you would choose the Y. If it was tangent, you would have to divide this one by that one. Because it's always tangent is Y over X. Cosine is just the X. Sine is Y.
So basically just divide the X by
You would, so if you were to do tangent for this guy, let me write it down. Tangent of T in this case would be 3 over 8 divided by negative root 55 over 8. Giving us negative 3 over root 55. Oops, we gotta switch over. All right, so tangent over always Y over X. So you get this. If you simplify, you would have to multiply top and bottom by the root 55. So that's the prettiest it's gonna get. Any question on this one? One more. Our students text me, they don't remember their test quizzes. Any other ones that you feel are confusing, strange?
Wanted to go over the.
Okay. Gotcha. Right, you doing all right on these? Any other ones? Top?
What is this? Is this a review?
Review. Yeah. Oh, this guy? Oh, 105. Yeah, yeah. Okay. It says convert to, what's the word? Radians. Sure about that coffee earlier. Like dying now. Okay, so 105. If I need to convert to radians, you have to multiply by pi over 180. So you just simplify this. Degrees cancel, you get pi 105 over 180. These are both divisible by, actually there's no more degrees, my bad. These will reduce. But divide both by 5, what do we get? What'd you get? You got 21. 6. Does this reduce further?
Yes.
Yeah, so 3. Divide by 3, right? So 7 pi over 12. So I divided both by 5, got this, both by 3, got this. So technically I could have used 15. I just didn't see it. But it's all good. Yeah, so we're going from degrees to radians. That's all I want you to do is you multiply by this and simplify it. So there's no more degrees. That's all you got to do.
I can check the extension. At midnight again.
Midnight tomorrow, yeah. So you can take it anytime tonight or tomorrow. Just start it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Just make sure you start 2 hours before
Yes.
to be safe. Or maybe sooner if you can, in case something goes wrong.
Right.
Okay. So this one is the other direction. You go from radians to degrees. So you would multiply by 180 degrees over pi. Instead of pi over 180, you flip it. Is that 10 pi 7? So multiply by 180 over pi. And that's it. So that'd be 10 times 180 over 7. I don't think 7 goes in there, does it? At all. So the calculator gives an approximation of 257.14 degrees. So if we're going to radians to degrees, multiply by this guy. If you're going from degrees to radians, multiply by this one. So just flip it over. Cancel the thing you want to cancel. If I want to go to degrees, I'm canceling pi. If I want to go to radians, I'm canceling degrees.
Would you look,
What's up?
how do you look like? Or which one calculator?
Oh, yeah. So I just put the 10 times 180. Yeah. Do you have any other questions?
All right. No, if the tests are gonna be about the same. curiosity.
They should be,
As to-
maybe a little shorter or about the same.
Oh, really?
They won't be longer,
Wow.
so it should be 20 at most. Shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, it's a little overwhelming, I think, whenever.
Yeah, no, for sure. Plus, you only have so much time. I can't give you 100 questions, so it doesn't make sense. It'd be ridiculous. Yeah, I won't cover any new stuff today, but if you guys want to, if you want to head out now, you can. If you want to do some topics, let me know. Or if you want to find some questions. Either way, I'm here till my next class starts at 9, so I'm gonna be here for a bit. But if you're good, feel free to head out. Yeah, no worries.